And his question came up around, how do you continue to, as you continue to grow, where does this go? And how do you manage it? And, we talked about, agreements versus expectations, but how do you really continue to nurture and allow those dynamics and allow that to foster itself and grow? And it comes back down to what one of our core values, what it was at NAEA, because I think it was more aspirational, yet it was one of the things that we had to do in order to continue to grow. And it really revolved around the leaders creating leaders creating leaders. And I can see it. It's kind of who we are at our core. And this is what I'm a super proponent and advocate of this, in that I really was ingrained in me, outside of those close to my dad, when I moved to California. And Kathy, she was the head pro there. She was my boss. And she really poured into me and established connections. We had the opportunity to go over and get certified at the Pebble Beach Golf Academy with Laird Small. And Laird's one of the top teaching pros on the planet. And it was something that we were an on-call pro for the Pebble Beach Golf Academy. And they, I didn't hang around long enough to get called. I wish I would have. Yet that little thing right there, right? Like, she poured into us. She poured into, hey, y'all are running the junior program, figure it out, right? Here's the intent. Here's what it is. Y'all run with it. Throwing me into running massive events at the golf course. At the time, it was one of the top golf courses in the area. And they held major fundraising events for the hospitals and things there. And I mean, she had me do the introduction to introduce, like I was shaking, right? But that's really pushing the people that you're leading out of their comfort zone. And then also putting them in a position to where they can fail forward. Like, she let me, at that time, the number one golfer on the planet was David Duval. Well, this was 97, 98. And if you guys have followed golf for that long, you know what happened in 99 and 2000. Tiger Woods changed the game. But yet she let me, and David Duval was sponsored by Tommy Hilfiger. Guess what she let me stock the golf shop with? Tommy Hilfiger. We had to discount so much of that shit just to sell it, right? We had to give it away. But she let me fail forward. She just let me go out there, and she just let me make those decisions. And she never criticized me. She's like, hey, what did we learn? And I shared this on this morning, and I really broke it down to Jay when I saw him. And I got this from Matt last week. And, Matt had said something to me about, hey, it's a double learning situation. And I didn't call him out on it. And then he said it to me again the other day. And I was like, Matt, well, hold on. We got to pause. What does that mean? He said, well, in life, we are living, and we're living in this circle. Yet, if we're learning, we now move into the double loop. Now we move into, if you think about it, the infinity circle. So as we learn, which goes down, we come up, we live, goes down, we come up and learn. And we have a choice. We can choose to take what we know, what we're learning, and make changes to lift our life up. And it's the constant live, learn, change, lift. That's the double circle. And he said, but what most people do is that they just live. They may learn, but they don't make changes. And he said, I want you to think about this. The circle is going down. So think about the people that just live, that don't learn, don't make changes to lift their life up. They just live and they go in a circle and they drive their circle into the ground. They go down because they're not taking what they learn, making changes and lifting their life up. So for us as leaders, it's also about how are we helping the people that we're leading lift their life up? How are we letting them learn and fail and then helping them make changes so that they can continue to lift their life up? You know, we had a measurement that we would always say is that, you know, we don't measure a leader by what they accomplish. We measure a leader by how many leaders they create. And that's when you talk about like great coaches, and it's easy to just follow the sports, right? So like, think about, what do you think about like a great NFL coach? I like to see the DNA tree. I like to see who has head coaching positions, who's coordinators, and where did they come from, right? What school, what coaching tree did they come out of, right? Like Bill Parcells. Like look at the coaches that are in the NFL today that worked under Bill Parcells' guidance and leadership. It's off the charts. And so how are you, with your legacy, how are you pouring into people and creating more leaders? And, you know, having Kathy do that for me at that, because that was my college, right? You know, I went to school to play golf. I ended up being on the drinking team. I lasted about a year and a half. And, you know, my hair was, you know, past my shoulders. I had the ponytail before the man bun was cool. I rode a 77 Harley Sportster. Imagine that with the golf bag. So life was disaster. And my aunt knew that. And so she said, you don't have a choice. You're moving out here. And she goes, I'll try my best to get you a job in the golf shop and we'll go from there. And it was, you know, the best decisions, the best 3 years. That was my college, right? Of going there. And then fast forward with Kinder, and, you know, I came on board in October of 2004 with Kinder, and he was in Craig Proctor's program. He was the poster child for Craig Proctor because Jay was so young, and Proctor pimped him out essentially. And so they were kicking off Platinum, which cost $20,000. So this is 2004. We had to write a $20,000 check to be a part of Craig Proctor's Platinum program. I wrote the check. He signed it. I wrote the check, and we mailed that out. And as soon as we mailed it out, he said, okay, book our travel. I said, to me, book yours? What hotel? He said, no, you're going with me. He said, if you are going to be my right-hand man and we're going to do this together, I'm bringing you in a leadership position. You go where I go. And that's like one of the lessons. I mean, that cemented us, right? I mean, we also did a lot of this, and it drove us apart for a couple of years, yet we learned and came back together so much stronger. And it was all leadership lessons, right? There are no business problems. There's only leadership lessons. And we needed to learn how to be better leaders for ourselves. We needed to learn how to lead with each other. And then also making sure we're pouring and cascading that down into the leaders we're trying to create. I want to stay on this just for a little bit more. And then I want to give you guys some principles and practices in kind of our relationship. But when Rick said that this morning, and a lot of you guys are kind of in that role, you're experiencing it. And we've all heard the saying, right? You need to build a bench of leaders, because the last thing you want is you need a leader when you don't have one. And it's just constantly pouring into your key people, the people around you, giving them the opportunities to fail. Let them order the Tommy Hilfiger that you know you're going to have to give away in 6 months, right? Let them make those decisions. And remember, are you allowing them to make decisions that will take shots above the waterline or below the waterline? See, the one thing Kathy knew is that I could have stocked that whole damn golf shop, yet it wasn't going to matter, because it would have, if nothing would have sold, it still wouldn't have sank the ship. We could have discounted it, sold it at cost, given it away in goodwill, given it away in raffle prizes. We do tournaments. Hey, we'll give this to you at discount. Like, she knew no matter what, allowing me to make those decisions, we're going to take shots at the boat, but it wasn't going to be below the waterline. So you got to be thinking about that with your people. Let them be who they are, right? We don't want to ever be the resource. That's why it was the whole thing is like, give me 3 solutions. Did you think about it? Sometimes you can't answer their call. You don't want them to be dependent upon you. You need them to find their leadership style, find their leadership bearing, and put them in a position to where they can lead at the highest of levels. Get them plugged into the community, have them do the community events. It was one of the things that propelled us on our way when we did 531 that year. We all joined the chamber, all of us, our head of marketing, myself, Reedy, Jay, and I think there were a couple more that got involved, but the 4 of us were the main figureheads that were always there. And that allowed us to get connected deep into the community. And it wasn't just Jay, right? Because Jay knew that he can only do so much. We need this team to be able to spread and run. And so be pouring into your people. And so what? Even if they have an expiration, even if they're going to probably move on in their career in 3 years or in 4 years or in 5 years, so what? Get the best version of them while they're with you. And don't be scarcity mindset it. Pour into them, give them everything, give them every opportunity to excel, to grow. And, it will come back full circle. It may be, you might not see the direct impact right away, yet you're just creating and you're doing what you need to do at the highest levels to become the best leader that you possibly can.